So while we are waiting for the next few minutes to have others join us, I want to put it to you. If you have been part of this program since Friday and you haven't heard about our YouTube channel, then I'm sure that you've not listened to every information being passed in this space. Now, I want us to do something quickly before we kickstart this morning session. I'm sure every one of us can minimize our Zoom app on our phone without having to leave the meeting. So currently now we have a very little number of subscribers on our YouTube channel. And of course, the best you can do for us, apart from buying our books that we're going to publish after this long summit, after this wonderful summit, knowledge impacted summit, the best you can do for us is to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. For as many that can go on YouTube right now, you just need to search Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria, Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria. It's going to bring up our profile. We just need you to subscribe there. Now, what's the benefit of this subscription for you? We're going to be dropping videos, short educational videos, enlightening videos, opportunities videos related to research and other things that has to do with nursing education, progression in the profession. And you can bet with me that when you are a subscriber to that channel, you can easily, you subscribe and then you click on the notification button. You can easily know when we drop these videos. You can watch for your own growth, for your own advancement, for your own progress, for your own enlightenment. So it's important. I'm going to be sharing us that soon, but I know that we can do it. Virtually every one of us here is familiar with our YouTube functions. I'm very sure that 95% of us here visit YouTube at least once a day. That's not, I don't have the statistics for that. But I feel my instinct tells me that because I do. I visit YouTube at least once a day. And I'm sure that a very good number of us does that too. So I just want us to go to YouTube now and search for Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria and subscribe. And then you click on the notification button so you can know when we drop 1 or 2 videos. Even as I speak to you right now, this session, every session since we began this summit has always been on live stream on YouTube. And at the moment, we are also live on YouTube. So if you have friends who cannot log in, who cannot log into Zoom for this session, we're going to drop the link for YouTube in the chat room. You can send it to them. They can follow on YouTube. So I think we have our number of participants increasing, and we'll be starting anytime from now. So we have the YouTube link in the chat box now. We can copy that. So we're starting now, and just before we do that, I mentioned we going to our YouTube earlier to subscribe. We also have other social media handles. We've got our Twitter, we've got our Instagram, and then we've got our Facebook. Now, all we just need you to do is to go to those social media pages and drop whatever it is that you have learned from this summit since Friday till this morning. Of course, you're going to be learning new things this morning. So I want you to go to those social media pages and drop some of those comments there. I can tell you this is the best that you can give us as a reward for all that we have packed together, all the packages that we've wrapped since Friday and given to every one of us. So our Twitter handle is at INL Nigeria. I take that again. Twitter handle is at INL Nigeria. Our Instagram handle is INL Nigeria _official. And our Facebook profile, Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria, Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria. You can search those things. I'm going to show us later how to go about that if for many of us that cannot do that. So we'll be commencing the first part of this morning's session, and we hope that others join us as the meeting goes on. My name is Oluwatobi Kolaole, and I'll be your moderator for the part one of this morning session. Like I said earlier, Nigeria has been experiencing a drastic change as regards nursing profession in the last 2, 3, 4 years. We've seen nurses move from Nigeria to either UK, to Canada, or to the US. Of course, we understand that majority of nurses that have left Nigeria are left for the United Kingdom. And what are their lots getting to the United Kingdom? What is in for them? What are the prospects? What are the opportunities that lies ahead? I'm sure that many of us would have had that no matter the cadre or hierarchy or even if you have a degree already, once you get into the UK, everybody falls into the same level. Everybody becomes band 5. But then even with that, that doesn't mean that for you who had gone ahead, maybe academic wise, in some aspects, you won't be open to some opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities. It's not my duty to tell us that today. It's not my assignment to do that today. And that's why we've brought someone who is versatile, someone who is knowledgeable, someone who has seen, who's got the experience. And I just want to chip in this. We've had a lot of nurses move. What's your reason for moving? One of the things my mentors taught me is that Oluwatobi, anywhere you get to strive for excellence, try to be the best. And of course, it's good. We're happy that we have someone who has actually displayed that, who every one of us can actually take a cue from, every one of us can actually learn from. And that's no other person than for Lake Olatunde. And before she comes up, I'd just like to read a profile. Um, Adefolake Olatunde is a registered nurse who currently works at Riverside Central Residential and Nursing Home in London, United Kingdom. Adefolake has about 4 years of experience providing person-centered care to elder adults living with demands and other chronic illnesses. Before coming to the UK, Adefolake has been a volunteer for various WHO immunization programs in Nigeria and has gained many experiences working in various private hospitals, as well as a fertility clinic in Lagos State, Nigeria. Adefolake obtained a BNSC from Lautech, Nigeria, as well as certificates as a registered nurse, midwife, and public health nursing officer. Adefolake has great passion for nursing and believes in building oneself and others up in order to improve the image of nursing and nurses globally. Adefolake was recently awarded the Overseas Nurse of the Year 2020 by Nursing Times and was also featured in their February's Role Model of the Month. Sorry, before I continue, maybe you don't understand what Overseas Nurse of the Year means. It doesn't mean that they are awarding it to Nigeria, best Nigerian nurse in UK. Overseas means for every non-Nigeria that is in the UK, be it Philippines, be it Indians, be it you're Romanian, you're from Nigeria, you're from Ghana. She was the best. She was the best. That's a top-notch level of excellence. Currently, Adefolake has been invited to join the judges for Nursing Times Award 2021. Adefolake enjoys spending time with family and friends, watching documentaries and thriller, as well as playing chess. LinkedIn profile name is Adefolake Olatunde, with much reference, with clapping ovation, with all enthusiasm. I want to welcome you, ma'am. The stage is all set for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Oluwatobi. Can you hear me? Just to check.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. That was a good introduction, I must say. Yes, I'm honored to be here. I'm humbled, actually, to speak to a few. I am speaking with young nurses and nurse students alike. This summit is really a great thing. I wish I had more of this when I was still studying nursing. It's an opportunity for every nurse to know exactly what the profession is all about and to know what you're getting into, basically. Without further ado, I will be sharing my screen. I have a PowerPoint presentation that I hope will sensitize you and inspire you to attend the top in this profession, to improve the image of nursing, basically. Just give me a few minutes while I share my screen.
We can't see the screen. Oh. Hello, ma. Sorry about the audio seems to be breaking from your hand. No. So, but we seems to be having challenges with hearing you clearly, ma. The audio seems to be breaking from your hand, and we cannot see the screen at the moment. We can see your screen at the moment.
Let's try another one. Sorry.
Well, we still can't see your screen, and we're finding it difficult to hear you. The audio seems to be breaking. Ma'am, I'm going to suggest that maybe you try logging in again. Because okay.
For so you had video vaccine program.
The audio is still breaking, ma, but we can see your screen now.
This still like I was responsible for having to progress. Also basically let's go to production in Lautech. Was against what Lautech, I think this becomes program focusing so Lautech really like so much, and I can't really say thank you to everyone.
We really apologize for the technical challenges that we're experiencing this morning from our presenters, and efforts are being made at the moment to fix that. And we're looking at our other contingency plans to see if we can continue with the session at the moment, or we have to come in later after the second presentation. Albeit, please, I implore us all to be patient, to be calm as we've always been, while we fix this in about a minute or two. Thank you very much for your patience. You can take your time to start giving a feedback of the things you've learned in the last 2 days, from Friday, starting from Professor Ajibade's session, Professor Edith's session. Yesterday was a very wonderful time. We had great time talking about nursing internship, and we had a great time seeing into many statistics about public health and a lot more. We had Dr. Gordon share his personal experience with us. So, and we did learn one or two things from that. For as many of us that missed those sessions, we can go to our YouTube channel. Like I said earlier, Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria will be able to watch everything, every of those sessions on YouTube. It doesn't cost you anything more than data. So thank you.
Oh, hello.
Can you hear me clearly now, ma'am? Hello, ma'am? Hello, ma'am?
Oh, the connection is so. Um, Yes, barely. Actually, I don't know where when I got cut off. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with the connection.
Okay, that's no,
But
we
yes, can you hear
actually
me?
got cut off when you were about sharing the screen. So if you could take it off from
Oh
there
my
again.
goodness.
We didn't hear anything after that.
Really?
Yeah, we didn't hear anything after that. So
Oh my God. I was just talking on. Okay, let's try it again. Let's see. Fingers crossed. The connection is so bad this morning because I don't know. So if at any point you can't hear me, please just let me know. So okay, so I'm sharing now again, of course, and I'm going to my PowerPoint. I must say it will be a good host so far.
thank you very much, man.
Okay, so I will stay there.
Yeah, we are there waiting for your screen to come up. At the
Okay, can you
moment.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but we haven't seen your screen. Still loading.
Yeah, so I'm trying to share my screen.
Okay.
Right now. So you can see the screen. Can you my screen now, please?
Yeah, we can see your screen now, man.
Hello?
Yeah, we can
Oh,
see your
great,
screen.
lovely. And I hope you can all hear me. People can
Yeah,
drop their comments in the chats.
okay. Please, participants,
Okay.
please drop your comments if you can hear now. From my hand, I can hear you clearly.
If you can hear and can see the screen, then we are good to go.
Yeah, I can hear and see, and I have confirmation of that in the chat room. So let's run.
Let's run.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, as I said earlier. And so speaking about my journey towards becoming nursing times overseas nurse of the year 2020 and the career opportunities for nurses in the UK. I hope this will inspire and sensitize young nurses and also nursing students to be the best version of themselves in this profession. So the journey, every journey has a beginning. So let's go. Let's start with passion. I highlighted passion because in everything you do, without passion, you wouldn't be able to achieve the top or achieve the best. So for me, nursing, I had passion for nursing, and it was born out of the fact that my mom is a nurse, a good one, and she really inspired me while growing up. I learned a lot from her, and I made up my mind day and day, as little as 8 years old, to study nursing. And so I went to a good primary school in Lagos and secondary school in Lagos. So while I was in secondary school, I started volunteering for WHO immunization programs, World Health Organization, and the polio and the measles campaign and everything. So I was doing that for many years till I gained admission to study nursing at Lautech. And before I got to Lautech, I was already in School of Nursing at Bekuta Idiaba. But I wanted degree. I had a feeling then that I degree was better in a way for good career progression and more opportunities. So then, well, it was not easy really because of the financial implication, but I decided to leave School of Nursing and I went to Lautech. And I must say at this juncture that I'm so glad I made that decision because Lautech has offered me a lot of theoretical and practical experiences that I don't think I can get anywhere else. Although at that time the curriculum was a bit too much, but we're able to pull through. And because of the determination not to give up, uh, I graduated with being a registered nurse, midwife, public health nursing officer, or the R's, like we used to say, and as well as my BNSC with a good grade, I would say. And from there, I went for my National Youth Service Corps at Anambra State, which proved it was a telltale sign that I'd learned a lot while studying because I was able to work independently in the health center where I was posted to. I was so proud of myself when I took a delivery of a pregnant woman alone. The matron was shocked. Everybody was shocked, but I knew that it was not just my doing. It was just through the grace of God, hard work and commitment. I'm a Christian, and I'll say it anywhere. You need to believe in something to achieve um, success in anything you do. So don't do away with your belief system and just focus on hard work and commitment. Without the grace of God, I don't think you can go far, honestly. And so after my NYSC, like many other, I started applying to work and teaching hospitals in Lagos, in Osun State, but I didn't get any employment for whatever reason. They were, I think, they were intimidated by my degree. Some of them wanted someone with just RN, where they can give you just say any amount, and so I didn't give up, and I didn't want to just stay at home. And I don't despise days of humble beginning. So I applied to a private hospital close to my house. I was paid less than what I expected, but nursing is a profession where experience is very important on your way to the top. So regardless of any salary you earn at the beginning, I don't want you to despise that. I want you to embrace and cherish and keep all those experiences with you because they go a long way in helping you through your journey in this profession. So I started with that, and from there I started applying to other private hospitals, and eventually I got a private I got a job with the private hospital in Victoria Island, Lagos State, South Shore Women's Clinic, a fertility clinic. And that was when I gained a lot of I had a glimpse of what it's like to work in the UK because the MD, medical director, trained in London. So we had all this sophisticated equipment. But while I was there, I had a longing to further in my career. So I applied to University of Ibadan to study nursing, MSc, nursing education. While I was studying there, it was not going as planned, unfortunately, because of some hiccups um, with my supervisor then. But along the way, I was almost close to giving up because I felt nothing was going well for me. I'm saying this because you have up and downs in life generally, especially in nursing. That period for me was very challenging, but I didn't give up and I kept the faith. I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to come, but I knew something was going to happen. I got a connection with a friend actually told me about an overseas job. So that takes me to the next slide, anyways. So I was introduced to this job, and because there's a lot of scam going on then and even now, where people claim to be an agent linked to a UK employer, and you get there and you find out that it's a scam, and you're used as you're used and misused when you get to that country. I almost fell into the scam of going to Saudi Arabia at a point, but I pulled back at the last moment because I felt it was not right. So I contacted this agent that my friend gave me the link to. And so I contacted him and he told me about the job. I was still skeptical about it, but I said, okay, it's not going to hurt me to send my CV and some required document I was asking for. And the agent put me through the online registration with NMC UK, and that's the website there. So I registered online with NMC UK. So the first stage of the registration process involved verification of your ID, your that's majorly your passport, police certificate, your educational qualification, professional registration, references, and of course, then in 2016, you had to have at least 2 years of nursing experience before you could apply. So I did all that, and I was given the go ahead to also write the IELTS. The IELTS is an English test that proves that you can speak English. As ridiculous as it sounds, the UK do not consider Nigeria as an English speaking country, as ridiculous as it sounds. So yes, I had to write the academic version of the International English Language Testing System. Ladies and gentlemen, I failed at the first attempt. I'm not ashamed to say that. I didn't pass the exam. It was disappointing. But one thing about failure, when failure becomes failure, when you refuse to learn from a mistake and pick yourself up and come back stronger. So I did that. I went back to see where I went wrong, and I had almost flawless results at the second attempt, which was really good because many people were having issues passing the IELTS. It was so difficult then. And so after the IELTS, I was given the go ahead to write the computer-based test. Computer-based test and IELTS can be written in Nigeria. We have centers there. The computer-based test is more of nursing 120 multiple choice nursing questions. And because of the background I had in Lautech, I was able to pass it at the first attempt. Hooray! Yes, that was excellent. And so once I had these two main results, I was put forward by the agent for an interview via Skype with the UK employer. Even at that point, I was still skeptical that probably they hired this British people to come and deceive us. I was like, okay, let's see how far they'll take their scam to. So I did the interview and they were particularly impressed with my IELTS results and my little work experiences. And so I was given the go ahead to apply for a visa known as work permit. So then it was tier 2 general visa that I applied for. And you were given 3 years to come to work in the UK. And so that happened for me. That was very, I mean, I'm still blown away each time I think about that moment because it was so unbelievable. But I just give God the glory that it worked out. And I'm talking about within the space of a year, I was able to get to that point of getting my work permit to come to the UK. And so I got to the United Kingdom and I currently work in Sanctuary Care Home, Riverlea, precisely in London. Sanctuary Care is a big care home. They have over 100 care homes across the UK. And their London home is where I'm based. So I started working as a pre-registered nurse. One good thing about this route is once you get here, you don't have to waste time. You start working and any salary because living in the UK is quite expensive. You have bills to pay, and they understand that. And because they understand that, they won't want to waste your time. And so I started working as a registered nurse. So my role basically was to work with healthcare assistants and as well as the nurses. So I was in between learning from both important or key workers in the care home. And that really helped me to integrate into the system because it's quite different in the UK. The equipment, their style, the culture, everything is different. And I knew how to learn it quickly to integrate and become the nurse I was supposed to be. And so while I was working, I was waiting for what we call a decision letter from NMC. Remember my application? I was at the last stage of my application, which is writing the OSCE, Objective Structured Clinical Exam. And at this juncture, I would say thank you, Lautech, for sensitizing us to OSCE. We already started the OSCE during our preparation for the RN and RM exam. So I already had an idea of what the OSCE was about. All I needed to do was to understand what they wanted. And so I got the decision letter to write it at Northampton, University of Northampton. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I attempted, the first attempt didn't go well. Yes, we had two attempts in 2017. After the second attempt and you don't pass, you go back home. So I knew everything was at stake for me. And the second time around, I prayed, I worked even harder. Despite the fact I was working, I had to create time to practice on my own. And Sanctuary Care, I must say, were very supportive. So they put me forward for OSCE training. So definitely every employer will put you up for forward for training. So I had the training, but I learned that whatever training or practice you do yourself goes a long way to determine your success or level of success in any exam. And so I was doing personal study and training, simulating the OSCE scenario at home, and I passed at the second attempt. I got registered as a general nurse in 2017, October. That was that was a miracle. That was hitting a milestone for me. I knew that yes, I have a firm grip in the UK. And so I started working as a general nurse. After I paid the fee, you get your PIN within 3 days. It's that fast. They don't waste time here, which is good. Anyways, and so sliding to the Nursing Times Award 2020. Just to check, are we still here together? I just want to, because I can't, apparently I can't see anyone right now,
Yeah, we're
except my
following you, ma.
screen.
We're following
So
you, ma. Yeah,
Toby, if you could shout.
yeah,
Oh,
we're
love,
following you. And people are responding in the
oh,
chat
love
room.
it. I'm so sorry that. Okay, so this slide basically is, you might think I'm talking about myself a lot, but I'm hoping you get one or two things from my journey that
Yeah,
will
it's
help
fine,
you
ma.
because
We
I'm just human
understand
like
that when
you.
you share your personal experiences, we can tell us the truth,
Hmm.
the pros and cons, and they can be able to learn from them. So it's fine, ma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Toby. How gracious, such a gentleman. So, Nursing Time Award. How did I get to winning this award? That's my there, smiling, in my teeth. Anyways, Nursing Times Award. Nursing Times is a prestigious organization that rewards innovation, creativity, hard work, commitment among nurses across the sector, whether hospital or care home. And so, because 2020 was, I would say, a year of pandemic, especially in the UK, we personally lost so many of our residents, like we call them, and we're at the forefront of fighting the pandemic. It was so challenging, so scary, but we're able to pull through. And because of that, Nursing Times decided to create this category. So it's a new category, Overseas Nurse of the Year. And they opened it up to nurses working both in the hospital, community, and care home. So they sent a general invitation to all the organizations to put forward nurses they feel deserve this to win the award. And so we're looking for someone that is hardworking, innovative, someone that's contributed immensely to their employer, someone that's provided support to other overseas nurses. And one thing about nursing and life generally is that you rise by lifting other people up. No man is an island. Getting my pain will not stop you from getting your pain. So why don't we all work together to boost the image of nursing? Because I've seen so many people want to stay on their own. They don't want to share what they have with other people. Nurse, the profession will not go forward that way. I'm just saying this just to encourage you and to basically encourage you to support one another. That's the way you can move forward and other people can move forward. And so I happened to stay in the sanctuary care accommodation on my first 2 years in the UK. And because nurses were not passing the exam, it was so sad. I was left alone in the accommodation for overseas nurses. And I was there for a while until 2018 when more nurses started passing the IELTS and the CBT and were coming to the UK to write the OSCE. So I was placed in the position of meet and greet. Meet and greet means I was supporting them, showing them around London, because trust me, London transport is very complex for those that are new to it. So I was doing all that, and as well as supporting them to prepare for the OSCE. So yes, they all had the training, external training provided by Sanctuary Care. But as I said, when you practice on your own or practice on your own free time, it goes a long way. And because I knew the challenges I faced, I just couldn't stand watching them struggle. So on my off days, I was helping them with the OSCE preparation. I was doing all that. And in my care home also, I was very proactive. I didn't shy away from responsibility. And that's one thing I want to encourage you also, wherever you find yourself, no matter how little you feel the work is, just do it. Do it wholeheartedly because your reward is on its way. So I was doing all that, supporting my home manager and doing all I could with the COVID testing, going for trainings, representing the care home at trainings. And one day, my home manager called me to the office to tell me about the Nursing Times Overseas Nurse of the Year. And she said because she has recognized my hard work and commitment, she was putting my name forward as part of the competitors. And also other care homes, sanctuary care homes, put forward other overseas nurses. And few weeks after that, we got a letter to say I've been shortlisted. I was the only nurse, overseas nurse that was shortlisted for that category, and the only nurse from a care home in the whole award. I got to know that later. And so it was supposed to be a ceremony in the UK, but because of the ongoing pandemic, we had to do it virtually. And I was in my room watching the award. And when it got to my category, which was the 13th category, I was announced the winner. I just couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it till now. Apparently, I was what they were looking for. My every work that I've done by the grace of God was what they were looking for. They were looking for someone that has been able to impact on other nurses within a short time of their stay in the UK. And so it came with so much recognition and benefit. Like Toby Meda, I was contacted to feature in their role model of the month, February 2021. So I got a free feature in their magazine because they have a magazine aspect of their organization. And also I was invited back to be among the judges for this year's 2021 Mercy Times Award. And of course, going to my company, Sanctuary Care. I got so many press release, and most importantly, I got a letter of recommendation from the CEO, which would go a long way in making my career progression and opportunities easier. Because imagine attaching that to your CV. And so at this junction, I would just want to say thank you, Lord. I want to say thank you to my family. I want to say thank you to Lautech, all the lecturers, all my colleagues. It has been an amazing journey, and I know it's just the beginning. If I can do it, you can do it. And I hope this has inspired you to continue to thrive in this profession. There will be so many challenges, trust me, but you always overcome them because that's what challenges are all about. They're meant to be overcome. So yeah, that's all about how I became the overseas nurse of the year. And I hope that I hope you've learned one or two things from that. So let's go to the main um, topic for today: career opportunities for nurses in the UK. So there are so many. I would say there are plethora of nursing opportunities, vast, bountiful. There's no one way to achieving what you want to achieve. And as I mentioned earlier, you need passion. You need passion to strive in any field you decide to tour, or any path you decide to tour. For me, I like geriatric nursing, care of older adults. That's what I have always secretly wanted. And so when I got that opportunity to work in a care home, I jumped at it because I knew this is what I want to build on. And so, as you can see from the line, you can be walking towards the green red line, for instance, and you decide to take a U-turn to the yellow line. That's nursing opportunities for you in the UK. So, what is the beginning? How do you start? Like Toby said, no matter your degree or the house that you have to be registered with NMC UK. Even if you come to the UK under student visa, when you're ready to join the workforce, you have to be registered with NMC UK. So I've met so many PhD holders back in Nigeria that were here, and we're complaining that this particular OSCE exam, this OSCE is beneath them, and they end up failing. You have to be humble in this profession. You don't have to see yourself as something, because at the end of the day, we are all humans and we are nothing but the creator. So you have to be humble and learn what they want, because without doing that, you continue to fail. So despite the fact that in library I've done so many OSCEs back in Lautech, I knew this is the UK. You just have to adapt and integrate and give them what they want so you can get your pin. So it's the registration, like I said. And unlike when I came to the UK, there's a new requirement for nurses registration now. So there have been a bit of change or changes, because many nurses have been obviously complaining about some of the processes. So NMC UK has been gracious enough to make certain changes to make the process easier and faster for overseas nurse. And don't forget, they need us. There's a lot of shortage, even at my workplace. It's so difficult to get nurses, especially quality nurses. I know Nigerian nurses are well seasoned. Trust me, our curriculum is so packed. We are ready. We are ready, and they really need us. So they go to Nigeria, mostly Philippines and India. And so the few changes they have made that has made life easier for every overseas nurse is basically online registration with NMC UK. So the online registration, like I said earlier, would check your eligibility. Basically, it's just to confirm that you are registered with NMCN back at home. check your professional registration, educational registration, your ID and all that. But unlike 2017, where they were asking for 2 years experience, they have scrapped that now. So fresh graduates can actually start the application. And so when you get here, you undergo the process of induction. So you don't have to worry about not having experience. And again, yes, so RN, if you hold a RN, you can apply. So you don't need to hold a degree in nursing before you start the process. But I would advise that if possible, get your degree in nursing because it makes it easier for you to climb the ladder faster than others come with just RN. Yeah, RN is good for the registration, but if you want to move, you just still have to do degree in nursing. It's more expensive. It's less time, but more expensive. But is it not better for you to just get it there and just climb forward to straight masters than spending pounds studying degree? Yeah. So yes, despite the fact that Aaron can register, please get your degree if you can. And so yes, you still require to prove your English. And now IELTS was the only proof of English that we had in 2017 when I applied, but they have added OET. OET is occupational English test. This is like IELTS, where you write
Hello, ma'am. I'm sorry. I think you've been muted. I'm asking you to unmute, but I'm not getting a response to that. However, while you're doing that, I think we have about 6 minutes more for this session to come to an end. But you need to unmute. Hello, can you hear me, ma? Hello, ma. Hello, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for that each again. Seems like we've lost our guests. Okay, she's back. She's back, I think. Can you hear me, ma?
Hey, what did we?
I'm sorry, the audio is breaking.
Yeah, it's breaking. Yeah.
Okay, now I can hear you clearly now. So I was going to say that we have about 6 minutes more for this session to end. So I'm very sure that we can get the slides too, so we can share with the participants after the summits.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thank you very much, man. So we've got like 6 minutes more.
Okay. Okay, let's see what I can do. It's always easier if you just tell me when and hear me, because I keep talking. I'm not able to know that way. I'm not communicating. I guess my video has frozen now, but can you still hear me?
We can hear you, man, but we can see the video definitely.
Okay. Let's Okay, so let me see if I can just summarize everything
Okay.
as to career opportunities. So basically, it's just about it's all about the online registration with NMC. So as long as you can achieve the OSCE, you can go from there. So for instance, if you're a registered nurse willing to hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, ma. I'm with you, ma.
Okay. I don't know. The connection is so bad today.
So sorry about that. I can imagine the frustration. It's fine.
When it happens, we just make the best use of it. So, in summary, I would just say that any opportunity that you're going to access in the UK, you have to be registered. Um, you have to be a registered nurse in the UK. And if, for instance, you want to go into mental health nursing, it's easier when you work in NHS, which is the hospital. And so you can easily work, gain experience in that particular field, easily gain experience in that particular field that you're interested in. And so okay, some people are saying they can't hear.
We can hear you, ma. I think that was a previous message.
Oh, that was a previous message. Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
for instance, so we have a care home. You can work in NHS, which is the hospital here. I'm still working in a care home, and because of the restriction on my visa, I am not able to work anywhere else for more than 20 hours per week. And so for me, I'm registered with part-time with the hospital. So I do 20 hours per week working with them just to get a general feel of what goes on in the hospital. And for those nurses that want to join the hospital straight from Nigeria, because you have two options, whether you go with care home or you go with the NHS. You can work on that particular ward that you want to gain elements in. And so once you move higher education department, every so as I mentioned, academic will show your interest in a particular field that you want to study in. And so once you content, you put on the training, postgraduate studies, or anyone that wants to. It depends on the class they have. That's studying your degree in nursing, because we're going to shorten the length of study that you have to undergo to achieve a particular qualification in your field study. And so we have some fields of nursing. Let me say this in the UK, we have the midwife, learning nurses, geriatric nurses, tissue ability, diagnosis, advanced
Oh my God. Ma'am, the voice is really breaking now. We really can't um hear you clearly.
you can specialize also.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
respiratory notes. Okay. So advice you are someone that really wants to go NHS. Oh, sorry. Yes, I think that's also
Thank you very much, ma'am. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear the last part of the summary, and I'm sure that a lot of people's got plenty of questions for you, including myself. But of course, from this presentation this morning, the part that network permitted us to hear, Yoruba we say, "Oh, Nika Jerapoleno." I apologize for those that are not Yorubas in the room. Now, unfortunately, network was not friendly with our guest speaker this morning, but I'm sure that we picked a few things from the things she had taught us this morning, especially from the part where she shared our own personal experience. Are you get what I'm saying? Where she shared her own personal experience on how she became the overseas nurse. And I could just draw some conclusions from that. It's a journey that included sacrifice, discipline, dedication, and integrity with a top notch of excellence, and which was what I mentioned earlier before she came in. So we can drop our questions. I know we have a lot of questions. There are a lot of things to talk about as an overseeing nurse. There are a lot of opportunities there for us. Everything will be answered in the ebook. We're going to get our presentation in the ebook too. And of course, it comes at a very fantastic price, quite affordable. The quality beats the price. So brace yourself up to get that copy as soon as it comes out. So we'll be moving to the next session, and I'll be stepping down from the moderation duties. So on this note, I'd like to invite my co-moderator in person of additional. In person of additional Bukumi. She's going to be taking up the moderation duties from me as we move into the next session. So as I've said earlier, let's drop our questions. Everything will be answered in the ebook. And then the name of the last speaker is Adefolake. I can insist, okay, Temitope Malobe is asking for the name of the last speaker is Adefolake Olatunde. That's her name. Our celebrating us.
Thank you. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. You have the...
Okay. Thank you, Kolawole Oluwatobi. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining this section. My name is Additional Oluwatobi, a 400 level nursing student of Lautech University of Technology, Ogbomoso, and I'll be anchoring this section. This section is titled Career Opportunities for Nurses in the United States, Finding My Path. I know a lot of us would have been planning to pursue careers in nursing abroad, most especially in the United States of America. And you might have been wondering how this can be actualized. Who will show you the way, who will be a lamp to your feet and walk you through this journey? Then you are at the right place. Because I know a woman who works with the gender equity thematic area, which describe and mitigate the impact of power, oppression, and discrimination on health and well-being, with an emphasis on reducing gender-based violence, promoting empowerment, creating equity health system, and to advance sexual and reproductive rights and health across global settings. She obtained her master's in public health degree in epidemiology from Jackson State University, Mississippi. Her research experiences include cardiovascular disease risk among African immigrants. Our research experience also includes Our research experience also includes quantitative and qualitative research on adolescent sexual and reproductive health, the cardiovascular health profile of Mississippi workers using the Behavioral Risk Factors Surveillance System, BRFSS, validation of self-reported hypertension status on the National Health and Nutritional Examination Survey, NHANES, and the intersectionality of implicit biases in public health, among others. This award-winning woman is a co-author of several peer-reviewed articles. She has worked as a nurse clinician in various settings in the United States and as a nurse midwife and family planning clinic service provider in Nigeria. She serves on the executive board of the American Public Health Association Student Assembly as treasurer-elect. And today she will be sharing with us her expert opinion on career opportunities for nursing in the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our distinguished speaker from Johns Hopkins University, Baltimore, United States of America, Olubunmi Ogugbe.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Sure, sure.
You can have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. I must apologize to you. You don't have my updated bio. That one was a very specific one for a very different thing. But I do appreciate your patience in getting through all of that. I do want to say thank you to everyone for joining this session. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me properly and see me properly. I do also want to thank the organizers of this summit. I think this is an excellent event. And while I am doing all of the things, I'll go ahead and share my screen as well. And probably also put up some disclaimers. Okay. All right, you should be able to see some portion of my screen right now. Let me know if you're not able to see it properly. I'll be able to check the chat every now and then, but let me know if you're not able to see my video. All right, so good morning again. My name is Bumi Ogungbe. And I'll be talking to you just very briefly. I've tried to be as brief as possible, so we would have some time for questions in the end. I'll talk about some career paths in the United States for nurses, and I'll specifically highlight some personal stories just to sort of bring it home and make it a little bit relatable and personal to us. And moving on to my disclosures, because I really do want to set the expectations a little bit. So I do not have any relevant financial disclosures, at least not any that is relevant to this talk. One thing I do want to say is that to set the expectations, this is not so much as a as an admissions office talk, and it is not a career prep talk, so to speak. So please do not expect that all of this is like written in gold somewhere. A lot of this is very subjective, again, because of the different laws for different states in the US. So what I've tried to do is to prepare a very general and a very aerial level type presentation. So it's going to be very, just really a little bit as universal as it can be. Also, this is not a nursing immigration talk, so I'm not really going to be emphasizing, but we can address that a little bit in the questions later, but I'm not really going to be telling you the path to immigrating to the US as a nurse, because I didn't think that that would really give everybody the type of information that they need. But again, I'm going to breeze through this so we have enough time for questions in the end. So people who have those kind of questions should please put them in the chat box and I'll talk on them. Before we really start this, I thought it would be good to take a minute and for us to take a few seconds to reflect on the past year and just the sheer number of healthcare workers, including nurses, that we have lost. I do want to thank every single person listening right now, particularly those who are nurses, those who are healthcare workers, other healthcare workers who may have joined. Researchers, in whatever you do, you have contributed in one way or the other to make it bearable to live through this pandemic. And we do know that some of our colleagues have paid the ultimate price while caring or just while giving direct or even indirect patient care. I thought it would be good to take a few seconds to reflect on that and to really thank them and to thank you as well for sticking around as an healthcare provider in spite of this really challenging year, living through a global pandemic. All right, so let's kick it up with one of the quotes that I love the most, and Maya Angelou. She's one person who I think has had really great experiences as a person, and she's got really, and I'm glad that she was able to share some of those. So I do know that a lot of we all live different lives, obviously, and things are not exactly the same for all of us. But one thing that does unite us is that we're still here, we're still alive, and we're still trying to survive as much as we can. And sometimes, because of the circumstances, we are restricted, and most of the times we are just in that survival mode, and we just want to get through, and we just want to be able to pull ourselves up with help, hopefully, from others. But then it's important that we not only survive, right? It is important that we thrive, and that we don't just thrive for the sake of it, but that we are able to thrive with some passion, with some compassion, a little bit of humor, and then with some style. So I'm hoping this is something that will speak to someone, hopefully, on the call, that it helps. It helps if you're able to think about your purpose and think about your mission, think about your values, and try to align every step that you take, everything that you do, to really with your mission or with your purpose. It does help to live a more fulfilling life and to truly thrive, considering how really challenging it is to live in the world. I do want to say out once again, I would try as much as possible to keep an eye on the chat box. So you may see me looking sideways over here. I'm just looking at the different monitor. I'm not ignoring you. So let's talk about what I've done so far. Just very, very quick overview of where I started, where all of this started, and how I even got into nursing. So obviously, we can probably already see the Lautech logo, Lautech Akintola University, which is where I started my undergrad. And so I really started in biochemistry. Can you believe it? I shared this with some colleagues the other day, and they were really surprised. So I started in biochemistry, and then moved into nursing, and moved into epidemiology, which as I'm blanking on a name, the colleague who introduced me really stated, thank you again for that wonderful introduction. I moved into epidemiology, so I got a master's of public health degree in epidemiology, and obviously by extension public health. So I did, or I still do, a lot of epi work and public health work, which is really truly what I love to do. And then I moved on and then started a doctoral program, a PhD program, and I do a lot of cardiovascular disease research, cardiometabolic disease research. And that's what I currently do at Hopkins. And yeah, as I like to say, sometimes, I guess I'm also still, just as you probably are, in many ways, I'm also still figuring out what's next for me. I do want to highlight this photo. It's a 2014 photo. It's some IPAS Young Midwives Award photo, and I'm showing it because this young This young man to the left, you may see him. I think he would probably be talking. I don't know if he had given his talk already, but this is Oladayo Afolabi, who we met. I didn't know at the time that he had attended Lautech as well. So we obviously went through the same program, and then we went for this thing, and then we met. And then it was really surreal, just really not knowing that this is someone who had gone through the same nursing program that I was in at the time. I think at the time I was in 400 level, I believe. And one thing that he had told me, which I also want to live with you, is that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just make sure you're always adding something to yourself. Make sure you're either learning a skill, improving on a skill, getting some type of education or some type of experience, improving your practice. Just make sure you're always learning, because I guess that's the interesting thing about being humans. I don't think that we are really made to be stagnant or to just be to really, I think stagnancy is the best way to describe it. We're not really made to be stagnant, right? We're supposed to be learning. We're supposed to, it should be a flow. It should be sort of a little bit of adding to yourself, a little bit of giving as well to others. And then I do want to also show this photo. It's interesting. Preparing for this talk, I was wondering what I do want to connect with you as much as I can. So I don't seem like this person living somewhere speaking some fancy English, which I apologize for. I wish I can still retain a lot of my Nigerian accent. I'm sorry. I would try. So I do want to show this photo. This was a photo of my class, my colleagues at Lautech at the time. And I think I'm somewhere in the crowd. I don't even know where I am, but I do want to show, so to tell you that if you're currently in the nursing program in Lautech or any other school in Nigeria, I connect with you because I also went through that journey. I also did that. I was there. And I also then want to show this, that this is currently, this was taken, I think, maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, not during the pandemic, obviously, but that I think almost all of the people in this photo are nurses and they are nurse researchers. And that just shows you that if you do want to be a researcher, you want to be a scientist, which is, I'm sorry, a lot of what I'll be talking about, because that's truly my forte. You can absolutely do it. You can absolutely get there. You do want to do research, you want to present at conferences, you want to do all of these things. Yes, you can, because literally I, in many ways, I went from being here with my wonderful colleagues to also meeting some really wonderful colleagues down here. And okay, let's move along. So I thought it would be good to start with the States of the Words Nursing report. I thought that would probably give us a backdrop into how much you are valued as a nurse and how there are opportunities in different places, in different countries. I was here for, I guess, the tail end of the last speaker's talk. I do also want to appreciate her for a wonderful talk. I know she was really sharing really important information with you. And so, and just to sort of highlight how important it is that you are a nurse, how important your education and your experiences are, and how valued they are. So we do know that the global nursing workforce is almost 30 million people, and I think roughly almost 20 million of those people are professional nurses. So they are like doing active, either direct or indirect patient care. And we do also know that nursing is the largest occupational group in the healthcare sector. Almost 60% of healthcare workers globally are nurses. And it does take a little bit of reflection just to sit with that and to reflect on that, because essentially it's a lot of us. But at the same time, we're not enough. There's a global nursing shortage in almost every region. And so that brings us to this point. You may want to zoom in on Nigeria here and sort of see how the density of nursing personnel to the population is quite low. It shouldn't be this low. And I'm hoping that we can do a lot. We can do a lot of work to sort of increase this. But even it's not just Nigeria. Obviously, it's not just the continent of Africa, but just everywhere. There is a lot of shortages, and that's really what I want to highlight. And obviously, I'd mentioned this. This is the sheer number of nurses globally. That's something, right? That does tell you that we are not alone in this. We're not alone in some of the challenges that we face, and that also I am hoping would give you a bit of hope as well. That yes, there are other people who are nurses as well in different regions, different parts of the world, who you can reach out to, who you can connect with. So I also want to mention this. I probably will not spend a lot of time on this, but I do want to highlight the continent of Africa here, and this like the projected increase. So I just showed you how there is a lot of shortages and how a lot of organizations and governments and coalitions and WHO, everybody is trying to encourage government and nursing organizations to expand capacity. So to train more nurses, to expand, to make sure there is enough resources to train, to give people sound education with a lot of credibility, and to provide jobs, right? To provide good, high quality jobs. And also for immigration, for people who do want to work in other places. Because I tell you, I think about 1 out of every 8 nurses is internationally trained. Like they were trained in the country outside of where they work or currently live. So that tells you something, right? And that's why I'm showing this, that obviously we do hope that this will be more than this. I hope we'll get there at some point. And in terms of nursing education, so this is probably where a lot of my stats will stop, particularly for people who are beginning to get really bogged down with all of these numbers that I'm showing. I just thought it would be of interest and it will help us set the stage. So we do know that there are different levels, so to speak, of nursing education. And just looking at this by the WHO region, you see that there are significant, I would say, differences by region in the number of years spent in getting a nursing education. So for some regions, the 2 years, there's still a little bit of the 2-year kind of model, and we see some of that on our continent and then in other regions as well. And then you would notice that in many other regions that is being phased out, right? And so it's a lot of 4-year, 5-year, 3-year sort of programs, and I think that will be relevant in probably one of the next slides. Okay, so let's take a look at nurses in the US and where I think a lot of interest here is. So just a bit of the demographics. We do know that nursing is still in many ways gendered. We're hoping that would change. There's an influx of strategies to smoothen that, to make sure there is a little bit of equity in the gender distribution in nursing. And I also do want to show just a breakdown by race, ethnicity, and to highlight that, for a nurse who is from Nigeria working in the US, you're sort of part of the Black or African American category of nurses by race, ethnicity. And so where do nurses work in the US? About 60% of nurses in the US work in the hospital. That, I should mention, is changing in many ways. It's changing. A lot of nurses are like doing research and being researchers, and they work and they teach as well. So they work in the academic institutions. A lot of nurses are in policy. A lot of nurses, obviously, and I know this is something the last speaker also talked about, but I know she was mostly talking about the UK, but a lot of nurses work in nursing facilities or residential facilities. A lot of nurses do ambulatory. So ambulatory is like outpatients or clinics, which in many ways, the way the US health system is structured and the way the US health system is structured is slightly different. It's quite different, could be even detached, so to speak, from the hospital systems. But then I would still like to highlight that a substantial number or proportion of nurses work in hospitals. Okay, all right. Let's look at what roles nurses play. Again, this is a little bit on the US side, so this is not generally universal, but I think in many ways it's also true in many other regions. So you have nurse clinicians, you have nurse leaders, nurses and policy, nurses who are educators, nurses who are midwives, right? Researchers, scientists. Just all of this. And I think that's the beautiful thing about being a nurse, because it just sets you have this very holistic education and experience, and you can pretty much do any other thing that you want to do. I should also say that's probably what is beautiful about being a nurse in the US, because there are just loads and loads of paths, so to speak, that you can really go into, as long as it's your interest, as long as you do have a little bit, you have some resources to go along with that. You can pretty much do all of this from a nursing education. So I like to think of a nursing education as sort of a springboard, right? And here are just a few things that I think may be of interest. So a lot of people come in with a bachelor's. In many ways, there's a lot of there's almost a deliberate attempt to phase out any nursing education that isn't up to the bachelor's. There's a preference for baccalaureate educated nurses. So that's when obviously the question would be that are there persons who do not have a bachelor's degree in the US who are nurses? Yes, there are. There are things called the licensed practical nurses, wonderful colleagues. The difference between those group of people and a registered nurse is just the scope of practice and the type of education that they had. So yes, there are number of jobs as at 2018 is over 3 million. So again, tells you how much need there is. And this is expected to grow for about 12%. That's pretty significant, and probably more with the pandemic. I think this stats came before the pandemic, so probably more during the post-pandemic, because there will be a little bit of research, as we can imagine, unfortunately. And this I know is going to be global. There will be a little bit of research and high demands for healthcare jobs or healthcare workers to fill healthcare jobs. All right, so let's get on to it. So how do you become a nurse in the US? And this is what I'm saying. I guess this is what I was referring to when I told you that I will be doing something general. One thing you should know is that because of the way the states are set up in the US, there are different states, and different states have their different legislature, they have their different laws, they have their different, there is to an extent a national standard, which I'll talk about on this slide as well. But if you are coming in, particularly as a nurse trained outside of the US, sometimes there are variations. And that's why, just because I don't want us to really go down that rabbit hole, so I don't have any of that on the slide. But again, we can talk about it in the question and answer. So you do want to become a nurse in the US. This is where you start. You could go get a diploma in nursing. This is not very common anymore. I think one would be hard-pressed to even find a program that would be called a diploma in nursing, but it used to exist pretty much. It just, as we are probably familiar with as well from the Nigerian system. And a lot of what people also do is to get an associate degree in nursing. Some people call it ASN, some people call it ADN. I know a lot of people who have done that. So I do know a lot of friends who came into the US and then they wanted to switch careers, right? So a lot of them are like Nigerians who came. They were not nurses in Nigeria, but then they thought that nursing would be a great second career for them. And then they usually start with the associate degree because you can pretty much, I think within 2 to 3 years, you'd be done. The prerequisites are sort of you can pretty much get your prerequisites in to be able to get into the program. And then obviously there is the Bachelor of Science in Nursing programs as well. One thing I would say is that there is also beginning to be a phase out of this. So I should say that a lot of professional degrees in the US are sort of at the graduate level. So for instance, if you want to go to medical school, you have to have a bachelor's first in something, in anything. I wouldn't say anything, but in something. Sometimes it's not science, sometimes it's art, sometimes people do anything. And then you then prepare to go into medical school. Same thing with law school. You sort of have to have a bachelor's in something as well before you go into law school. So it's slightly different from what we're used to. And I should say a lot of nursing programs are beginning to do that. I'm going to probably highlight my own school, Johns Hopkins, for instance. They do not have a bachelor. So there is no Bachelor of Nursing programs. All programs start at the master's level. So you could have a bachelor's in something else. That's the major requirement, that you do have a bachelor's in something else, could be in zoology, as long as you're able to have the prerequisites to apply. And then you apply and then you get your nursing at the master's level. So all of that to tell you that a lot of things are changing in many places. People have different opinions about it. Some people think it's great. Some people think it's not equitable. I'm not going to express my opinion to you, but that's just to tell you what that is. So if you could get all of this education, and remember, I mentioned the masters. So that's not reflected here, but just sort of just go with me here and put it in your mind that sometimes people come in with a different bachelor's, not a Bachelor of Science in Nursing or a Bachelor of Nursing Science. People come in with a different bachelor's and then they start a master's program. And then just imagine that is another additional box over here. And then everybody to become a nurse has to take a licensing exam or be licensed, and the national. So this is where it is universal. So you know how I told you that different states have different things. This is one of the beats of nursing education in the US that is national to everybody. So everyone has to take the NCLEX. I imagine this is probably very familiar. I know when I was back in Nigeria, NCLEX was something that I was already familiar with. So the NCLEX is the National Council Licensure Exam for Registered Nurses. This is like the basics. This is where after passing this exam is when people become registered nurses in the US. That's it. And then you get a state RN licensure. So that's the other thing. So even though the exam is national, you get a license that is specific to your state, because you apply for the exam, you apply to take the exam through the state, right? Again, it is a national exam, but then if you're living in New York, you end up getting a license to practice in New York. If you live in Maryland, like I do, you get a license to practice in Maryland. If you live in California, you get a license to practice in California. One thing that has changed recently, no, actually not recently, I guess it's been a while, is they started to issue e-compact license. So what that license allows you to do is it allows you to practice in different states at the same time. So before now, it used to be that if you have a license to practice in California and then you travel to Florida, you're not legally permitted to practice because it's a different state. But with e-compact, not all states are on e-compact yet. I think they are trying to get all of the states on board. But with e-compact, but I think probably over 30 states. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but probably up to 30 states. You can, and sorry, I do want to mention, please, if I begin to run on time, just stop me. I can stop anywhere. I think this is probably the most important information right now, so I'm going to give everyone this information, but whenever I do start to run low on time, please definitely let me know. So people can get the e-compact license, which is the type of license that I have, and then you're able to practice in multiple states at the same time. And then you begin to work as a nurse. So you could work in the hospital, you could work in any of those places that I mentioned before. But that's it. That's how you become a nurse in the US. So keep the questions coming, please, particularly about this, because I think this is probably a lot of what people came for or came to listen to. Okay, I'll move along. So there's something also called the advanced practice registered nurse, or as I like to call it, I just said the nurse practitioner, because that's what's most common, but obviously that's not the only advanced practice track that you can specialize in the US. So this is a continuation of what I said. So the baseline is you get an RN. When you have your RN, and as we know, before you have your RN, you probably need to have a degree, bachelor's degree, or even a master's degree. You can go home to then specialize. And with that, you need to, for most of the times, you need to have a master's of science in nursing. I know this is not a given. This may change, or you could just go and get a doctorate of nursing practice. So this is DNP, which is different from a PhD, slightly different in the sense that a PhD is more research geared, while a DNP is more practice-based, right? And so when you do get that, you're able to specialize, and there's a long list. Oh my God, there's a long list of nursing specialty. And what that gives you, how this is different from being an RN, is that you have prescribing power. So if you're a nurse practitioner, again, you will go through another, some more education, you take the licensure exam, you join, there's a whole long list, but these are like the basic steps at least that I'm showing here. And you are able to prescribe. So if you're working as an NP in mental health, you can work in a sort of psychiatric clinic or mental health clinic, and then you can prescribe medications, right? You can. I think in some cases, particularly for the nurse midwife, you can probably what's the word? Do some simple procedures as well. Again, I do want to say to the moderator, please check me on time in the chat box. I'm keeping an eye on that. So I do want to answer one very, very quick question. What's the difference between an advanced nurse practitioner and a clinical nurse practitioner? This is just the difference. I think it's just the type of education that you get. So the clinical nurse specialist is a little bit more, and I think it's funny because a lot of people are moving on to the MP track than to the clinical specialist track. I think it's a little bit more specialized, so to speak. So it's like if you just want to do critical care and then you're just going to be a critical care clinical nurse specialist. But the MP is a little bit more, in my opinion, is a little bit more wider. So you can do more. You could just be a family nurse practitioner, right? And then you're just in like family medicine. And so in my opinion, it's not really as highly specialized as a clinical nurse specialist. We can talk about this more, but that's the way I understand it. All right, I don't have a lot of minutes, so I'm going to just speak through this. So I do, obviously, because this is sort of my own track, I do want to talk about being a doctoral prepared nurse. So if you're interested in research, oh God, you're sort of like, you're almost halfway there because you're already a nurse. And again, as I said, that's usually a springboard to help. So if you're interested in nursing research or being a nurse scientist, these are some of the steps. So again, these steps are not set in stone. A lot of people could jump. Oops, I have jumped. I have not necessarily followed these steps. But these are like just the general steps. This is from the NIH, so this is very specific to them, really. All right, I thought it would be good to highlight people so that just to bring this a little bit more closer to you, and so you can see people who have gone through these different steps, who have done it differently in many ways, and maybe you'd be able to relate with them. I'm highlighting someone who I'm really close with. She's a very close mentor, Yvonne, and I put all of their things here so you can go check them out if you want to, but just sort of to look at their trajectory. I do want to call your attention to this. How she sort of moved from getting a Bachelor of Nursing in nursing and then moved to a PhD. So this is something I do want to mention here, and I'll move along from this slide, is that unlike what you've probably been told in Nigeria, or what you probably know, you can actually get a PhD with only having a bachelor's degree. That's the beautiful thing. And this is not just in nursing. This is like in a lot of other fields in the US. So it is not uncommon for someone who only has a bachelor's to go ahead and get a PhD. And then in her case, she then got a master's after a PhD. So that may seem strange, but that's why I'm showing this, that you can do it in various ways. There is no one golden path. I'm showing Onome. Onome is a great friend who I met, I met at a conference. Now that I talk about it, I should probably contact him one of these days. But I do want to show you that he took a very interesting path as well. He started all of his education in chemistry, even got a master's in chemistry, and then moved into nursing, and is now a PhD candidate at the University of Pennsylvania. So that's another person. Is a nurse researcher, totally different route. I do want to highlight Lauren. She's not an immigrant. So the two people I just showed you are immigrants. Yvonne is Ghanaian, Onome is Nigerian originally. And then Lauren, she's not an immigrant, but I do want to highlight that she moved. She came through nursing and then moved into policy, and she's now she's a current United States Congresswoman. So if you're interested in leadership, you're interested in health policy, there are obviously opportunities. John Sween, as well, I do want to highlight, John Sween is an audiologist. Can you beat that? He did all of his training in audiology, and then he's getting a PhD. Is a colleague, actually. He's getting a PhD at the School of Nursing. So those are just to tell you that there's really no straight path. I do want to highlight Olanike Idowu, who also attended Lautech, who also got a BSN in Lautech, and then she then came to the US, and then she went into public health first, I believe, and she is now a psychiatry / mental health nurse practitioner. Okay, I see some charts. In some questions. So let me move ahead. So for people asking about the nurse practitioner path, this is just sort of a summary. Ignore all of this text. You can read that later, but I would just quickly highlight. So the first thing is you get a bachelor's degree. The next thing is you pass your NCLEX, which we've gone through. The next thing is you find a graduate program, could be a master's program or a doctoral program, and then they prepare you for the nurse practitioner exam. Again, if I'm going over time, please just stop me. And I was also going to highlight just the difference, just that long list of specialty, long list of programs. So for instance, this first one, the Master of Nursing, actually the second one, the Master of Nursing in Science, it's actually the same one, entry into nursing program. This is the one I said that people come in with a different bachelor's degree or a different master's degree. And sorry, I have a little bit, but yeah, some with a different bachelor's or master's degree, and then they come into nursing, they then sit for the NCLEX after being prepared for it, and then they come out with their RN and their master's in nursing. Isn't that beautiful? So I will speed through this. We really don't need this. I can send all of this to you. So this is the summary, and I think this will probably answer many of the questions in the chat box, which people asking about time, how long does it take? What do you need? Where do you need to do all of these things? So I'm going to just leave this with you. I will not go through this again because this is probably just a summary of all of the things I've been saying, but this is sort of how it works. Now, this is not perfect. Some things are probably different here. I'll give credit to Nurse Wilson who created this, but just you can do a screenshot of this or just take a quick look at this and pay attention to the number of years it takes to answer the questions. Okay, I've got 3 minutes. All right. Okay, so for people asking, for people who, I imagine a lot of people on the call are foreign trained. So by that I mean trained in Nigeria. So obviously there's there's a high proportion of nurses in the US who are immigrants or who originally were trained outside of the US. And I'm just highlighting this, up to 15%, probably more, I would argue. Oh, you want me to zoom in? Oh, I'm sorry, it's already on screen. Slideshow. You can zoom in on your phone. Okay, so here, so don't let this bother you too much. They just have a lot of extra information that they shouldn't have on here, but here is sort of like the steps for people who are trained internationally, here are things that you need to do. So this is just an algorithm. So it's not like you need to do every single step. I'll highlight the most important ones and the ones that I also that I took. One thing I do want to say again is this is very specific. So I think this one is actually for the state of Michigan. So some of these things are very specific to every state, but the general thing is that there is the CGFNS. I imagine that people already know what the CGFNS is. The CGFNS is a commission on graduates of foreign nursing schools. And what they do is that they evaluate your nursing education and your nursing experience. And so you send them transcripts. They ask all of those things. And I can put the link to their website in the chat. So that's where you typically start from. You start with CGFNS. They evaluate all your things. So for the state of Michigan, I think they do the professional evaluation. Some states, they ask for a different one, a different service. So you need to be sure of the state you're going to. You need to actually pick a state before you even start the CGFNS process. And then sometimes some states require you to first take a CGFNS qualifying exam. That is not a given. Some states don't care about that. Again, goes back to you starting with pick a US state that you are interested in. And then you can just follow this algorithm. Again, you can take a screenshot of this so you can see it a little bit more clearly. This is specific to the state of Michigan. So don't think that this is what every state requires you to. Go to their website for each of the states that you may be interested in. They probably have a slightly different one, but this is like general. This steps are general. So you take the CGFNS and then you may qualify if you do pass. Depending on whether the state requires it or not, then you can, you'll probably be able to apply to take the NCLEX, right? You take the NCLEX, you pass the NCLEX, and that's it. All right, I think that's all I have. The rest of this is just some video that we don't need to watch. Again, I can send the link unless do I have any time to play the video? Probably not. Okay, so let's take questions. Let's just go through questions.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you.
And you don't need to read the questions, so we don't take time. I can. Do you want me to just scroll through the questions and answer them?
Okay, Ma. Your choice, Ma.
Oh, okay. So someone is asking if NCLEX is necessary after passing. Yes, it is necessary. NCLEX is like the Nursing and Midwifery Council exam to become an RN in Nigeria. So you have to take the NCLEX to be a registered nurse, unless you are applying for schools. So sorry, I'm trying to get the sun out of my face. So if you're applying to schools, you only just want to get a master's, you're not interested in being an RN, you can probably just do your school admission and not really bother about the NCLEX. But if you do want to become an RN, yes, it is necessary. Would you advise a newly deployed nurse in the US who is still running to enroll in a postgraduate degree? Now this is a very interesting question, Suliat. I think it's personal. It's something that we can probably chat about if you reach out to me. Let me just go through to my contacts while we are doing this so people can write this down. But Suliat, reach out to me. Let's talk about this. I will share my experience. How many years in the MSN and DNP already showed you that thing? Let me see. Okay. Yeah, Suliat, I see your other question. Let's talk. This is a little bit very specific. As a registered nurse with BNSC, I just told you the pathway, what you need to do if you already have your BNSC. I already answered this. Okay, is there an advantage to having a higher level education in clinical practice? In many ways, there are. If you do, particularly if you're interested in leadership, so you're more likely to be in leadership positions or in managerial positions. So unlike Nigeria, where it is the number of years, in the US, it's not really the number of years. So you could actually be a nurse manager because you have a master's, not because you've been a nurse for 10 years. There's a little bit of emphasis on your credentials. More than the number of years of experience. Of course, it still matters, but not as much as in the Nigerian system. What's the one thing I wanted to mention about it? And then obviously, if you do plan to be a nurse practitioner later, yes, a master's would be reasonable. All
Thank
right,
you.
I will yield to you. I'm sorry if I went over, I apologize. If people still have questions, I'm still going to be here and I can just answer you in the chat box. Thank you very much. I should say I'm so grateful to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Olubunmi Okungwe. That was a wonderful and mind-opening presentation. Thank you very much, Ma. All other questions will be answered in our ebook that is going to be coming out. They will be answered specifically by the speakers. The number of contacts to get the ebook will be pasted in the chat. So it just goes for 1,000 naira. So you can get all of the answers there. Thank you so much for this section. Thank you all for joining this section. And now entering into the next section, which will be anchored by my co-moderator, Kolawole Oluwatobi.
Thank you very much for coming. It's been wonderful having you on this ride. It's been a great time this morning, and we're moving gradually to the end of this morning's session. So quickly, we're going to be talking about something very important, something that everybody has been speaking about since Friday, and that is mentorship. And without much ado, we'll move straight to that. I'll be calling on our speaker right away, all the way from the United Kingdom. And you'll be taking us on the topic, the INR mentorship program, holding our hands through your nursing career trajectory. INR Nigeria is working on the mentorship program, so it's going to be taking us on that. And while he is doing that, we're going to drop a link. We're going to drop a link in the chat room. The link actually has a survey, and the survey talks about our opinion, our views about mentorship in nursing. It's to assess the mentorship knowledge and needs of staff nurses and nursing students in Nigeria. We'll be dropping that link anytime in the middle of the session. So I just want us to brace up ourselves. If we want to go find nursing profession, definitely we all need mentors. Every one of us needs somebody to look up to, somebody to learn from his or her experiences. And it's on that note that I want to call on my boss. Is a mentor too, is my mentor, and is the current chief operating officer of the Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria, in person of Mr. Emmanuel O. Adeshi. Mr. Adeshi, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to do some checks now. Can anybody hear what I'm saying? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Can we drop the response in the chat room if we can hear? Yes, I think everybody is fine, sir.
Everyone is fine. Okay, I would like to share my screen as well. I would like to get a response if you can see the screen, which I'm sharing.
It's still loading. Okay, yeah, it's showing now.
It's showing now, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I'm so glad to be here today. I want to appreciate the organizers of this meeting, INR, Lautech, Faculty of Nursing, and I would like to appreciate everyone here. I would say that this meeting has really been resourceful. I've really learned a lot because I've joined quite a number of these sessions, and it's really impactful. Very quickly today, I would like to speak on INR mentorship program, holding your hands through your nursing career trajectory. Okay. Before I go into my slides, I would like to be quick as much as possible. But before I go into my slide, I would just like to describe some things. I would like to tell you about how we came about this mentorship program. I remembered there was a time I came across a woman, a professor in nursing in Nigeria, and I love the way I love how she's been doing. I love the things she's been doing. I checked her profile. I saw that this is somebody that we can follow. I love a lot of the achievements that she's had in nursing. She's been to several places. She's touched things. She has done a lot of research. She has a lot in her portfolio. So I approached her and I asked her for mentorship, and she accepted me. And I think there was a time um, University of Ibadan was having a workshop for all health professionals who are researchers. I think the program was organized in collaboration with the University of Chicago. So she sent me a link. She asked me to attend, which I was very happy to attend. I knew it's an opportunity for me to build my skills and to build network. So when we got there, we noticed we had a lot of health professionals there. We saw doctors, we saw few nurses, we saw other people from the medical profession. And one of the issues that was raised there was about mentorship. Myself and the current CEO of INR, we were present at that meeting. At that meeting, we saw how people began to talk about how they mentored themselves, especially in the medical profession. We saw consultants, new consultants, telling us stories about how they were mentored by old consultants for them to get to where they are. We saw new professors who were sharing experience of how older professors had brought them to that point. We saw men who went to the extent of telling us how they were able to raise the younger generation, where they organize meetings, where they sit together. They call something writing retreats. They come together to write papers. Once the older ones are able to get funding or they're able to get grants, they call the younger ones to participate or to join them in writing proposals for that funding, or in joining them to execute those programs. And that actually was adding to the CV of those younger ones, and it was building their competence gradually until they became what they were. So at that point, we just had to look back and think about our profession, nursing profession, and we saw that it seems something like this is really, really lacking in nursing profession. Since nurses, we just struggle to get to wherever we want to get to, whereas somebody has been to wherever we intend to be. So that is basically what my presentation would be focusing on. INR mentorship program, holding your hands through your nursing career trajectory. I will just run through it, not to waste our time. In the course of this presentation, I'll be talking about mentorship origin. I'll define mentorship. We'll talk about why mentoring, look at the models for mentorship, then I would unveil the INR plan for a mentoring college. Then look at the qualities of a good mentor and mentee. Then I'll conclude, and I'll be fine here. Now, I would like you to look at this picture. Very quickly, like in the next 5 minutes, I would like you to just type what you can deduce from this picture in the chat box, and I would like the moderator to kindly read them out to me in less than 5 minutes, please. What can you deduce from the picture? Anybody?
Please kindly type what you can deduce from the picture. Okay. Adegun Iyanolowa is saying helping others to fly.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. Any other comments?
Abimbola Ojo is saying a mother eagle trying to teach a baby eagle how to fly.
Wow, that's splendid. That's splendid. Any other comments?
Sulia Tobile, a bigger eagle leading the smaller one. Wisdom Eboloa assisting younger one to fly. Ajaya Adejoke, the older eagle helping the younger one to move higher. Ibedon Farida, we move faster if we help each other. Mercy Ooni, riding on the wings of elders.
Wow.
Olorun Tobi, carrying others below you to higher levels. Karina Yebushi, mother training his child how to fly. Mary Yola, achieving effortlessly.
Wow. Wow. I think.
Roslyn, leading the young ones. Abimbola Ojo, standing on the shoulders of others. Oyetunji Abe, leaders helping the young ones.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I can see that we are actually following this presentation. Everything that has been written in that comment is actually right. We can see the mother eagle flying and trying to help the eaglets, to fly, number one, teaching the eaglets how to fly, and also carrying the eaglets to that destination. Now, the fact remains that if the eaglet is not trained on how to fly, the eaglet would never fly. And the mother eagle would only be the one to remain in the sky. Okay? And when it gets to a certain point or a certain stage, the mother eagle would eventually die and there will be nothing in the sky to fly any longer. So if we are going to maintain standard and we are going to maintain a high profile in nursing profession, there has to be what we call mentoring, such that those who have achieved some things in nursing would be able to carry those that are just coming even to their very destination. What a mentor is not? Well, I just have some few points here, and I feel everybody here can also add to it. A mentor is not a therapist. A mentor is not a foster parent. A mentor is not a peer or a friend. It's not somebody that you just joke or you jest with. A mentor is not a savior. And a mentor is not a talk or chat officer. I'm sure so many of you would have other things to add to that. And I think this is a very good note for starting this presentation. We should start on the note of knowing what a mentor is not. Because of my time, I don't want to take so much time with this presentation. It's a short presentation. I would have taken opinion from every other person on what a mentor is not, but I wouldn't do that. I'll just move on with my slide. I'm sure that as I move on with the presentation, you'd begin to understand who a mentor is not, okay? Now, let's look at the origin of mentorship. The word mentor, it's on its own, originated from a Greek mythology. It was derived from these writings of Homer in his poem, the Odyssey. I'm sure some of you must have heard of Odyssey, or you must have watched the movie Odysseus. Now, Odysseus was a man that entrusted his son Telemachus to his faithful advisor called Mentor. The name of his faithful advisor was called Mentor. So Odysseus was going to battle. He had to hand over his son to Mentor. Now, Mentor was actually meant to be a guide, a teacher, a tutor, and a father figure to Telemachus, who is the son of Odysseus. Now, that's the origin of the word mentor, okay? Now, let's look at aside here in nursing, the origin of mentorship, looking at Florence Nightingale. The concept of mentors is as old as nursing itself, as Florence Nightingale was also known to have mentored several nurses in her day. I'm sure you know the story of the Crimean War, how Florence Nightingale and some handful of nurses went down there and they were doing exploits. That was what started modern nursing. Now, let's just quickly go to defining mentoring. Let's look at how we can define mentoring. There are quite a number of definitions in the literature, yet all of these definition points to the same thing. The first one I'm going to pick is the one defined by Invite 2019. It says mentoring is an ongoing, most often long-term relationship between a more experienced or qualified person. So that qualified person is referred to as a mentor, while the less experienced person is called a mentee, which is designed to guide and support the mentee development. Now, the Canadian Nurses Association in 2004 defined mentoring as a voluntary, mutually beneficial, and long-term relationship where an experienced and knowledgeable leader, that's the mentor, supports the maturation of a less experienced nurse, that's the mentee. So you can see the concept of the mother eagle teaching the eaglet or carrying the eaglet to its destination. You can see that playing out now. Now, why mentorship in nursing? Why do we need mentorship? Why, I think I'm very happy about this meeting. From the start of this webinar, I think 2 days ago, most of the facilitators had been talking about mentorship. They've been touching at least mentorship in all of their presentations to show that there is a paradigm shift at this point in the 21st century in nursing. I'd like you to look at this very well. What can you deduce from this? I'm sure some of us had actually said this and you have seen it from the first picture I posted, but then this is a bit clearer and it's a bit profound. What can you deduce from this? We can see a man standing and we can see somebody else standing on his shoulder. Okay, let me just take our opinion. I would like us to just type in the chat box. What can you deduce from this very quickly? In just about 2 minutes. Moderator, can you please read out?
Messi Oni, seeing clearer and better. Seeing clearer and okay, Abimbola Ojo is saying you see clearer and farther when you stand on the shoulder of giants.
Yeah, thank you.
Ajay Joke, carrying a smaller person to see as far as wide as you can see.
Wow, lovely.
Zainab Adebayo helping to position the meter for a Ibino Farida is saying you will see clearer using the lenses of superior ones.
Wow. Lovely. Thank you so much, sir. I think that would be the last I'll take. Yeah, we are all correct. You can see that this man standing on the shoulder of a giant or of a bigger person is actually able to view the city. Is able to see the bigger picture of the city. Is able to see the city as a whole, rather than when he is standing on his own. Of course, if he's standing on his own, he might not see more than one of the buildings, but here you can see diverse kind of building. You can see several buildings and you can get a picture as a whole. This is what mentoring can do to you. Why mentoring in nursing? Nursing profession is like a very wild field. There are hundreds of things you can become as a nurse, and these are the things which we've been teaching over the time in this presentation. in this program, I've had most of our facilitators talk about the several things you can become in nursing, but there are specific routes that leads to these specific places. Okay, now the journey into becoming the nurse of your dream, especially in Nigeria, can be very stressful, draining, and time consuming without the guide of an experienced person. I remember when we're coming up in nursing, when we're just going through the nursing training, I know how stressful it can be, how draining, how time consuming it can be. It's possible for you to be in nursing and not know what is actually happening in nursing, not knowing the routes or where to go to. Okay, and when you continue to do that, you just waste a lot of time. Now, the book of Proverbs 27:17 says, "And as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." Now, young nurses struggle a lot in their career choice and journey. That's one of the reasons. And they take longer time to even discover the path or the ladder to ascend their career in nursing, and thus longer time to start the journey. Of course, while we're in school, somebody like me, I wasn't aware that you need to start publishing, you need to start working towards publication, you need to pay so much attention um, to research until we got out of school and we're even busy doing so many other things. Until one day when I went for a scholarship interview, myself and my friend, and they began to screen us. They were asking so many questions, and they got to a point and they said, "How many papers have you published?" I said, "I'm just applying for a scholarship, a master's degree scholarship. Why are you asking for publication?" Well, thank God, before that time, somebody had actually, my friend had sensitized me about publications and some things like that. So I started a work which I had sent to a journal, and the journal had been sending me the correction. I've been doing a lot of correction, but it has not been published yet. So I told them that, well, one of my paper is with the journal now, and they are almost publishing it. I was told point blank that you have no paper, so you haven't published anything. And the man just took his pen and put 0 there. I was just like, 0? Wow, I wish I'd known this before now. I would have done better. So it's quite difficult, time consuming, and mentally draining to sail through nursing in silos. There was nobody to actually tell you. It was not as though there was nobody to tell you that, but there was nobody. I didn't see anybody I could actually walk up to. I had no mentor really in nursing that could say, "Oh, yeah, as you are graduating, this is the next thing that you can do. You told me that you wanted to be a nurse tutor, you want to be a lecturer. This is the next step. This is this, this is that. You want to be a clinician. This is what you need to do. This is where you want to specialize." You get me? Things like that. Now, one of the paradigm shifts in the scientific community today is the interdisciplinary collaboration in research and projects. If you have been to any workshop or seminar, you'd see that this is what is actually the hot talk now, whereby people from different disciplines, whether health professionals or any other discipline, come together to carry out research, collaborate to carry out projects and things like that. This is to show that everyone needs someone and we all need each other. Now, mentorship plays an essential role in enhancing the success of junior staffs and nursing students. That's what Yukawa said in 2020. White and Dickerson also said mentorship in research and scholarly articles, either as a mentor or as a mentee, is a key part of a researcher's development. And it mentorship or mentoring also plays a very important role in your mental health. Like I told you, that nursing can be very draining. There are so many times you don't even know what to do. You don't even know why you are here. Something just brought down your morale. You don't know exactly what to do. Mentorship could help your mental health. You could just speak with somebody who's been there before, somebody who has interacted with that supervisor before, somebody who has done that kind of project before. The person will just put you through and it will allay your fear. Effective mentoring is a key component of academic and career success that contributes to the overall measures of productivity. Now, I would like to quickly look at the models of mentorship. What are the models available in the literature for mentorship, models of mentorship? The first model is the conventional mentoring peers. I'm sure some of us would know about this. It's a formal kind of mentoring. It's in this kind of model, mentors are paired with their mentees with specific purpose in mind, which could be for clinical skills acquisition. Maybe you want to be an orthopedic nurse, and you needed mentoring. You could be paired with an orthopedic nurse specialist or something, or an advanced care practitioner in that area, or an area of clinical expertise, academic writings, data analysis, or doctoral supervision, readership, or professorship. This is the first model. It's called the conventional mentoring peers. It's quite structured. That's why it's a kind of formal model of mentoring. The second one is the apprenticeship model with an adept and an apprentice. Here, the adept is one who is very, very proficient or expert in a particular field or skill. The apprentice is the novice or the inexperienced person. Okay, the apprentice could be paid to learn as an assistant to the adept. This might involve multiple mentors and mentees. An example of this is the apprenticeship practiced in the UK for training student nurses in the clinical practice or posting. Now, the system in the UK is such that when nursing students are posted to the hospitals, maybe the NHS or the public hospitals, on arrival to the hospital, what they do is that they'll be sent to different wards for their clinical experience. But once they get to each of those wards, for instance, they come to the orthopedic ward. Once they get to the orthopedic ward, the nurse in charge or the manager would actually assign that student nurse to a more experienced nurse as an apprentice. So this is like an apprenticeship, such that each time the student nurse comes on duty, such student nurse will be paired with that mentor. It calls him mentor actually. So you'll be paired with that mentor and you'll be able to get some clinical skills. You'll be able to learn a lot from the mentor. They will work together all throughout the 12 hours shifts. You ask questions, the mentor will answer the question. The mentor will show the mentee or the student nurse how to carry out something. So this is another kind of model for mentorship. It is called apprenticeship. Okay. Another example of this apprenticeship is when a more experienced researcher and new researchers carry out research projects together. Okay, like somebody who is a vast researcher, so maybe a professor or a PhD holder, calls together younger nurses or younger nurse researcher. And the purpose of this is just for them to learn. You know, when you participate in participatory learning, is a very effective kind of learning. Okay, when you participate in all the research process, you join the researcher, you are able to do things together, you see how things were being done, data collection, literature review, you come together and you're able to do that. Whatever lessons or whatever you've learned from that will stay longer with you than what you were just being taught in class. Okay, so that's another example of apprenticeship. Let's just come together and let's do this together with the purpose of you actually learning. It could also be a project or assignment or a task that you undertake with a more experienced person with the primary purpose of learning. This is actually, it's not a formal kind of model, okay? But I'd like to say to every one of you that don't be scared of collaborating, don't be scared of working with somebody. You need to network. Somebody, a more experienced person is calling, let's do this together. You should be happy. It's actually an opportunity for you to learn. The third model is the self-study group approach. This could be for Example, a group of staffs or students joining the Faculty of Clinical Science, engaging in self-study with more experienced colleagues as part of their induction. It's just like new students coming to school now, and perhaps you are in 200 level, or you are in 100 level, and you're having discussions with 500 level student or 400 level student on a particular issue or a particular course. It's also a form of mentoring. It's called self-study group approach. Now, and the fourth model is the peer group mentoring. Here, peers with a range of expertise are grouped with each member contributing as mentor and mentee. Here, it's just like we learning from each other. Like you are in the same class, perhaps MSc class or BNSC class, you are seated together, you're having something like a group discussion, somebody is contributing, the other person is also contributing. So you are learning and is also learning. So you are interchanging the role of being a mentor and a mentee. Yeah, everyone learns from each other to develop certain skills. Example of this is the INR Journal Club, which is, I told you, it's actually informal. Example of it is the INR Journal Club, where we come together to study research processes and to critically examine some publications, to see things which could be learned from it, or to critique and to see how to advance the nursing profession from some of those research findings. So it's a peer group mentoring model. Another model is the mentoring conversation. This is an informal form of mentoring. It's a normal conversation between researchers, colleagues, and with the purpose of learning. Like you just met your colleagues. Example is an impromptu corridor conversation as a colleague discusses aspect of his research with the other. It's like a mentoring conversation. Maybe you are currently running your master's program and you have a colleague who is also running his master program in another school. You discuss, this is where I am in my research work. I'm having this issue, and that one says, oh, since I've done that before, since I've done this before. And from there, you rub minds together. It's actually a kind of mentoring, but it's called mentoring conversation. Now, very quickly, I would like to unveil INR Mentoring College. We call it INR Mentoring College. Now, from the ongoing, it's now very clear to everyone that the place of mentoring in the advancement of nursing Nigeria. I told you that virtually every facilitators of this present program has always been mentioning the issue of mentoring, to show you that we really need mentoring in nursing Nigeria. There is a lot of mentoring going on here in the UK and other countries of the world, I would say. And I think this is also one of the reasons for the advancement of nursing in all of these places. Now, the Institute of Nursing Research has been able to identify this problem in theory and practice by experience and in the literature. And we are ready to take steps in filling this gap, even as we get support from nurses and nursing students. And I would like to tell every one of us that we are very open to all kinds of local and international collaborations in fulfilling this purpose. Now, the INR Mentorship College intends to combine two or more models found in the literature. Like I've told you before, I've spoken about the models that we have for mentoring, but INR would love to combine two or more models and modify it to fit into the specific needs and cultural nursing learning and practice in Nigeria. Of course, you know that some of those models that I've just tried to explain to you, they have been tested in other countries and it had worked. But of course, in Nigeria is a peculiar country. We need to design a model that would be specific to our environment, to the happenings, to the things which we intend to get out of this mentoring. Now, the first step to the above is carrying out a survey or a research that would assess the baseline information on mentoring from Nigerian nurses. Now, we have a survey. I'm sure the moderator had told you that a link had been posted in the chat box. It's an instrument that we have tested. We pre-tested it with the INR Journal Club members, and it's reliable. It's able to assess what we intend it to assess. Okay, so I would our first step is we want to collect information. We want to assess the mentoring needs of Nigerian nurses. We want to assess, we want to get the baseline data or information about mentoring that Nigerian nurses have at the moment, so that we can actually design and build on it. The result of the study will be used to co-construct interventions with stakeholders in order to meet mentoring needs of Nigerian nurses. Okay, what we actually plan is we plan to network Nigerian nurses with mentors all around the world. Okay, Nigerian nurses should not be afraid or scared to dream. There are so many things we want to become, but we are quite limited about how its availability. Is this available in Nigeria? There are so many kind of specialty that we intend to go into. But when we look at the provisions, what we have in Nigeria, we become limited. Do we have the course in Nigeria? Is there a school where you can learn this? Is there somewhere where you can get this information? We are limited. So we do not want Nigerian nurses to be limited by what the resources are available in Nigeria. That's why INR is planning on bringing this mentoring college, such that we'll be able to network Nigerian nurses with mentors all over the world, so that you can become everything you want to become. Okay, here we are going to create a platform in which mentors and prospectus mentees would register. Okay, then we'll create a platform for networking and connecting mentees to mentors, and would also we also get a monitoring and evaluation tool for measuring the effectiveness of this project or this model. However, the first step is the survey. Like I'd said the other time, I'd like to implore everyone on this platform. I'd like to implore you to just create time to fill out this online survey. It only take you like 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. And I would like you to also post it on any nursing platform that you could find. It's just to be able to gather mentoring needs. What are your mentoring needs? Want to gather it from all nursing students in Nigeria, so that it could help our design. It could help the building of our INR mentoring college. It will also help our intervention. Okay, so you can access the survey from this link. I'm sure the moderator will also post the link after this presentation. Yeah, very quickly, I want to look at the qualities of a good mentor. I'm gradually coming to the end of this presentation. Qualities of a good mentor. Mentor is usually the more experienced person in the aspect of nursing. He may be older than the mentee, he may not be older, but he's more experienced. The mentor must be able to teach, provide leadership guidance, and build confidence. The mentor must be up to date in the areas of expertise. The mentor must be able to understand peculiarities of nurses and nursing students and the stress they pass through. So he must be understanding, because he's been to nursing before. He knows how stressful nursing could be. He must also have a good interpersonal relationship and communication skill. He must be able to bridge generational issues and be able to embrace diversity in mentees. Okay, the mentor must be open to diversities, must not be streamlined. This was how I did this is how you are supposed to do it. No, must be open to diversity, must be abreast with opportunities. The mentor must be abreast with opportunities for the mentee to demonstrate their ability. That's one of the things I said when I started this presentation. I told you my mentor just sent me an invitation, an invite to a particular workshop, a research workshop organized by the University of Ibadan and University of Chicago. And it was a very good opportunity. I had to explore the opportunity, and I was allowed to attend that workshop, and that workshop was very impactful. Okay, so you must be willing to ask for help. I mean, the mentor must be willing to ask for help from other experts or other nursing. You must know your limits. A mentee is asking a question from you and you feel you are not very skillful in that area, you can refer to somebody else, or you can get the answers from somewhere. The mentor must display respect, patience, and demonstrate trustworthiness in working relationship. The mentors should also use the principle of coaching to develop the capacity of the mentee. Now, coaching is something that is quite similar to mentoring, but it's quite unique on its own. Coaching is such that you are not providing answer to a problem, but you are helping an individual to navigate the path to answering or solving that problem. That's coaching. That's why it's different from mentoring. So at times, as a mentor, you might want to use the principle of coaching. Try as much as in coaching, you suggest, why don't you do it this way? Don't you think that this is what is causing the problem? You help the mentee to see the problem, and you help the mentee to locate the solution to that problem. Okay. What are the qualities of a good mentee? A good mentee must adjust his or her time to fit into the schedule of the mentor in order to meet or to connect. If you are going to really enjoy a mentor-mentee relationship, you mentee must be able to fit your schedule into the schedule of the mentor. The mentee must develop enduring disposition and willingness to be mentored. Okay, the mentee must be willing. The mentor must see that willingness in you. The mentee must respect and appreciate the effort of the mentor. The mentee must also be focused and not too self-promoting. That is very important. When you are relating with your mentor, you must not be too self-promoting. You don't over-promote yourself. Yes, I remember when I was this, I just inserted that cannula once, and just once, it just went in once, and I got it. No, you could become better. You can learn better. You must not over-promote yourself before your mentee. Before your mentor. The mentee must also be interested in the area of expertise of your mentor. You can't say you want to be an orthopedic nurse and you are taking an accident or you are taking a perioperative nurse as your mentor. It won't work that way. Okay. Mentees must not be too dependent on mentors for answer or solution. That's very important. You must not be too dependent on them because they are trying to build your capacity. It means you have to grow. Okay, mentees must not discount or discredit whatever the mentor says or suggests. If at all there is any doubt in the discussion or any dispute or argument, such arguments should be constructive and with respect. Not, no, sir, that was not what I read. I didn't read that. You are not arguing. To make that relationship an healthy one, you must not be too quick to doubt or dispute your mentor's suggestion. Mentees must also be able to assess and analyze or see if they are making progress and plan for the future. Now, I'm gradually coming to an end. Yeah, basic principle of mentoring. The basic principle of mentoring is hinged on this picture. Can you see this picture? Can you see somebody on top of this cylinder trying to bring another person up? Now, wherever you picture yourself in the future, even if no one has been there before, there is definitely somebody who is closer to the place and could help you get there, regardless of whatever you want to become in nursing, telemedicine, telenursing, nursing technology. Talk about, just name it, any field in nursing. There is definitely somebody who has been there or somebody who is very close to the place, and that person can help you. That's where mentoring comes in. Mentoring helps you to get to that place, lift you up. You see how this guy standing on the cylinder is trying to help this other guy to his destination. One of the another thing I want to talk about in the basic principle of mentoring is, the first thing is connect. Connect with your mentor or mentee. No matter how difficult it first appeared to be ready to shift ground as a mentor or mentee for proper connection or meeting. You connect. You have to connect mentally. You have to connect physically. You have to connect in all ways just to have a good relationship. Then motivate. The mentors would motivate the mentees to go for their goals and to do what is necessary to be successful in their dreams. Mentees should also motivate their mentors to do more by being respectful, appreciative, diligent, and ever willing to learn. When the mentee is going for the goal, a mentor sent you an offer or sent you a position, you explored it instantly, you came back, you're able to do this, the mentor will be happy to send you more opportunities. Okay, achieve. Mentors should set goals with respect to the mentee's need and achieve it. Your goals must be in accordance to where your mentee says is going. Okay, not that you are setting your own goals for the mentee. Why the mentee should get all the help they needed to actually fly with this goal. So, concluding this session, you can see the picture. I don't know what you can deduce from this picture, but the conclusion of the whole matter is you need somebody. We all need ourselves to become whatever we want to become in nursing and in life. These are the references for my presentation. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'd like to take some questions before I leave.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adeshi. That was a wonderful presentation. That was a wonderful session. May God continue to bless your pool of knowledge. May God continue to strengthen you. We'll entertain a few questions, and while we are waiting for that, of course, there was a question that came in while you were taking the session, and that is, does age really matter with respect to being a mentee? I think maybe the person is trying to ask if you can be a mentee to a mentor who is older than you, or vice versa, either of the two.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. I think the person saw one of my slides where I talked about the fact that at times the mentor is usually older than the mentee. But from my explanation, I made it clear that it's not compulsory, it's not a hard and fast rule, it's not exactly that way. The mentor could be younger than the mentee. It could be vice versa. What is more important is that you found somebody who has been to a place where you want to be, and you feel the person is more experienced and the person could help you, could assist you, could guide you in getting to that place. That's basically the most important thing in mentoring relationships.
Okay, the second question that we're going to take for this session now, and while the guest is responding to that question, I'm going to share something with us, which I will take up as soon as it's done answer that question. All other questions can be dropped, and they are part of the things that will be attended to in the ebook. So the next question is, can a family member be a mentor?
Well, a family member being a mentor, it depends, because from some of the things which I had explained so far, one of the things I made clear is that a mentor is not your brother. A mentor is not your sister. A mentor is not your friend. Okay. Now, the reason why we had to go, the reason why we are so profound about saying a mentor is not any of those relationships is because of the possibility of being biased, the possibility of emotional bias in relating with your mentor. Okay, if you take, for instance, your brother or your sister is your mentor, there is this level of familiarity that comes in that makes it difficult for you to see, makes it difficult for you to learn, makes it difficult for you to take very seriously whatever your mentor is trying to dish out to you. So usually your mentor is not your brother. Your brother could actually help you it could actually fit into any of those models of mentoring that I spoke about, but it may not be very, very effective. You know, while I was talking about the models of mentoring, I didn't talk about the effectiveness because only research could actually tell us that. But we know there is a conventional model for mentoring, which is an organized structure where there is we have instruments for measuring the effectiveness of that program. You get me? But there are some mentoring models that are not they are not formal, such that there is nothing, you have nothing to actually measure how effective it is. Just like the casual mentoring, you met your friend around the corridor and you had discussion with him concerning your project that's mentoring. You have a brother who has been somewhere before and you discuss with the person, that's also mentoring, but it's not a formal kind of mentoring, which means that the output or its productivity would vary from one to the other.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That was a wonderful presentation. I'm sure everybody has learned one or two things, and thank God that we have this session recorded. For as many that couldn't pick one or two things, can go through the video. You can go to YouTube to also watch the videos. Just a quick one before we go. The evening session is still very much valid. It's important that we are there. One of the persons that our first or our second guest speaker spoke about, in person of Mr. Oladaya Folabi, will be on with us to discuss about scholarship opportunities outside the country in different places. And then we'll also be having the opportunity to have the grant, someone who is going to take us on opportunities to work in Canada. Over time, many of us have been so concerned about how to get to Canada. It's expensive, stuff like that. All those questions and insights, all those questions will be answered this evening. Those insights will be given to us. The other part of our announcement is that we have a journal club at the moment, the INR Journal Club. Here we discuss research extensively, have a couple of research classes, and it can actually be a grant for you. So if you need further information on that, just contact the number that you can see. We already have 2 cohorts in grant and they are doing well. You can, if you have the opportunity to meet any of them, they'll give you the testimonies. And we are also looking to awarding people who are versatile, who are committed to research. And that's the reason why we brought the initiative of the Young Researcher Awards. You can see all the details on my screen. So we are expecting abstracts. It should be submitted to the email you can see on the screen. The word limit is 500, and the deadline for submission is September 30th, 2021. And just the way we see it, we can just have a look. It's a research contest for schools and Department of Nursing students in Nigeria. For sponsorship and inquiries, you have the phone number there. Please contact them, and definitely we'll be giving the awards. We'll be recognizing the 3 best researchers at our November scientific conference that I will be showing us in the next slide. So we have our Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria scientific conference coming up in November, and that's it. That's our first annual scientific hybrid research conference, and we're calling for abstracts in 4 major sub-themes: patient safety in nursing practice, 21st century nursing education, cutting-edge research in evidence-based practice, visionary leadership, management, and politics in nursing. The theme for the conference is Advancing 21st Century Nursing Practice through Cutting-Edge Research, Education, and Policies, and it's will be coming up between November 17th and 19th, 2021. There's a deadline for the abstract submission, which is June 30th, 2021, and you have to log onto our website to actually submit your abstracts. And for this summit that we had, this is the design of the e-copy of the e-book. I beg your pardon. We're already working on it. The number on the screen is the person to contact to place your order. You need to book ahead. It's going to be a first come, first serve thing. And then you definitely get more answers to the questions that you've asked out. Most of our guest speakers, most of our facilitators were unable to answer. So you should follow us on our social media. For Facebook, we have Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria. Just search Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria on Facebook and follow us, like our posts, pass your comments, give us feedbacks on the things you've learned from this summit. On Twitter, it's at INL Nigeria. On LinkedIn, it's at INL Nigeria. And then on YouTube, it's Institute of Nursing Research Nigeria. You can actually go there and watch all these sessions again. And if you need to send any inquiry, any information, you need to clarify something, just email us at info@inlnigeria.org, and then our website is www.inlnigeria.org. Thank you very much. That will be the end of today's session. I can see that so many questions are still dropping in the chat room. Be sure that we will attend to them, as I've said earlier, and you'll get them in the ebook that will be producing after the summit. It's been a great time having everyone here. A big thanks to our guests, 3 guests who have spoken all the way from UK and the United States of America. A big shout out to my co-moderator, Bukumi, and a big shout out to the organizers of this program, to Iron Out, the Faculty of Nursing Lautech. Thank you very much for giving every nurse this opportunity. The contact details of me in charge of the book, please. I'm just going to share the screen again. For those of us that still want to pick that. The contact details of Mary is +2347069287502, +2347069287502. So that's that on the book. So till evening, where we'll be having the last final and wrap-up session. I want to encourage us all to keep living consciously, enjoy the weekend in our respective places, and be at peace with all men. Thank you very much for being around once again. My name is Oluwatobi Kolawole, and I leave you all in peace. Bye.